Deals. Written by Arc Vitae. I had heard it before. Everyone has. Never make a deal with the devil. I was in love. Deeply, madly in love. And I had to make things work. Love conquers all. Another adage everyone has heard. But it didn't help me. It was easier than I thought, summoning the devil. He had me address him as the Grim Reaper, and he certainly looked the part. As he spoke, he always started with a strange clattering chuckle emanating from his skeletal visage. It was unnerving, and the whole situation terrifying. But as I said, I was madly in love. So I need to be rich. I continued to plead my case to him. We are in love. We are happy. But her family is of the upper crust. True blue bloods. They would never allow their daughter to be with me. I am a good man, a hard worker, but I barely manage to keep a roof over my head. Without your help, I'll always be little more than a bum in their eyes. For this help of mine, for this wealth you seek, he spoke, emanating the crucial terms with his horribly ghastly tone. You are willing to deal? You know how the Reaper barters, do you not? I swallowed hard and then spoke, trying to sound brave while literally staring death in the face. You will require a life, right? Yes. He sounded so amused and produced another raspy chuckle. Will this suffice for the terms of our deal? I was speaking quickly now, acting rashly. If only I had stopped to think. If only I had just walked away. Let me become rich, a real success. I can show her family I am worthy. Then you can cut us down when we reach middle age. We won't grow old together, but our time will be short and sweet. Interesting. So interesting. No chuckle now. He was actually laughing. I have never heard terms such as this before. 2 half-lives to make 1 whole. That is your reasoning, I take it. I do not deal in percentages. I am the Reaper. I deal in lives. I will give you the fortune you seek. And then, when it comes time for payment, you're first. My mind was reeling. I was more frightened than I had ever been in my life. I saw my goal was in reach, though, and in that moment of fear and hope, I made the greatest mistake of my life. Deal, I said. It was awful. I had actually condemned my beloved, the woman I care about most in the world, to an early grave. Just so I could have a few years of happiness. But I was in love, madly in love. He was true to his word. It worked. I landed my dream job. Promotions, raises. I was on the fast track to success. Her family welcomed me in quickly enough when they saw I was no longer a burden, but a lucrative suitor to their daughter. I gave her everything she could dream of, spared no expense. I never told her the cost of my rise in status. I couldn't. I always felt horribly guilty about the cost of this life of opulence, but I at least knew that when our time came, I would go first. I was selfishly pleased that I would be first, so I would not have to deal with the guilt alone. And so we lived happily until we reached the year of our 35th birthdays. I had been anxious for a few years now, but the dread became palpable that year. 35. Middle age, going by biblical standards. It would be time for payment soon. Something unexpected happened, though. No tragedy, but a miracle. My beloved wife became pregnant. How wretched, I thought. He had us live long enough to have a child, and we will die leaving him or her an orphan. The day came. She was in labor, and we rushed to the hospital. I prayed, at least let me live long enough to see my child. In the delivery room, my elation was tinged with a horrible apprehension, for I knew he was coming for me now. My wife pushed. I held her hand, and together we watched as our child was born. The doctor held him up, and I was ecstatic and relieved. I got to see him. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the year. Maybe I would be able to spend some time with my child, my firstborn son. And then I heard it. Though it was so many years ago, I could never forget that clattering chuckle. I have come, old friend, for my payment. As he said this, I was dimly aware of the increasing panic amongst the medical staff, and my wife's own mounting alarm. Though I knew it was not from my visitor, only I was aware of his presence. I am ready. I was more ready than I thought. I knew today was my last day. Are you? He said with the same cruel, amused tone. He suddenly walked by me and collected a small bundle from the table in the room, his bemused chuckles ringing in my ears. I was again trying to process the ongoing disaster in the room around me. You are here for me, right? The terms of our deal? I told you before, I do not deal in percentages. I deal in lives. Specifically, your first. My mind was racing. I could faintly make out the anguished cries of my wife. I don't deal in percentages. I deal in lives. Full lives. He chuckled one final time as he disappeared with my firstborn child.